Hello again, everyone. This is Jason Griffith with the second of two screencasts that I'm recording to support my chapter titled Enhancing the Argument Using Threaded Discussion as a Persuasive Prewriting Tool for the ISTE book called Literacy Magic: Tech-Supported Instructional Practices. So for this screencast, I want to highlight 5 specific benefits to using threaded discussion to enhance students' persuasive skills. The first benefit is me as a teacher being able to give feedback through the threads to students before they actually draft and turn in their essays for a grade. For example, the student identifying himself by the screen name Riley Freeman writes, schools should allow students to be able to carry their phones and technology because one day all the power could go down and there could be an emergency in the building, and they couldn't go to their locker, so if they already have their phone, they'd be able to call their parents or police. Now, an emergency is a good reason for being able to carry a cell phone, but this seems a little bit dramatic, and I'm able to provide that feedback to the student through the threads where I say, in all of your years of school, how many times have you experienced that kind of emergency that you described? Can you find logical evidence or statistics to back it up? It'd be a hard sell without documented proof that something like that ever happened. So a student can consider that and address that before he drafts his essay. And another student jumps on that. She says, at school, I believe we have emergency lighting if we lost power and the generator failed. School's doing a pretty good job of taking care of us in emergency situations. So throughout the threads, I was able to jump in and give some students direction before they drafted their final essays. So that was one benefit of the threads. A second benefit was students asking each other questions to sharpen their positions. Again, let me jump into a thread to show you an example. In this handwriting thread, where students are debating the value of teaching handwriting and cursive writing in the face of typing and technology skills, Gingerbread Girl gives a long quote here where she's thought about going with the flow and kind of changing with the times. And I ask her a few questions about that, and so does a student with the screen name of Knucklehead. And what you notice, Gingerbread Girl responds to both of us, and she actually has a good interaction with the student Knucklehead here, responding to his questions, and she responds to my questions. So you see all these lengthy responses. So Gingerbread Girl, by Knucklehead and I asking her questions, she's able to sharpen her thesis and better defend and define her point of view. So when students ask each other questions, that's another benefit to this threaded discussion activity. It helps them sharpen their positions. A third benefit is the sharing of personal anecdotes. Again, let me jump into a different thread to show you an example. In the lockers and bags thread, one student says since they're not allowed to carry backpacks throughout the day, one solution would be allowing them to carry clear bags. And one student challenges that. Here's Songs Lover 1221 saying, why would someone want a clear book bag? Lita Bobita responds with a personal anecdote, which I think is interesting to illustrate the point. She writes, in 7th grade, I was allowed to carry a clear bag. I admit the bag rule is lame, but look at the teacher and parents' point of view. I would want my child to be safe at all measures in school. So by sharing that anecdote as someone who actually carried a clear bag, it kind of refutes the idea that it's completely ridiculous, and it gives some perspective. So I encourage students to share personal anecdotes throughout, which helped enhance their final papers. A fourth benefit of this threaded discussion was the sharing of internet resources. Once again, let's jump into a different thread, and I'll show you an example. In the school day schedule thread, where students debate the start and end of the school day, a student with the screen name Cornelius Brown offers a great web article. Here, the starting and ending time of school should stay the same. Teens may need more sleep, but they should just go to bed earlier. Read an article that said the human brain works better in the morning. This article claims the best school starting time should be between 7:20 and 8:20 in the morning, and he provides a link to the web article, which Lita Bobita says, great article, I really like you gave me a source, I read it and I agree with you, and several other students along with myself responded in a similar fashion, and students were able to take that web resource and tie it into their papers. So that happened throughout. Students were able to share lots of good, valid web resources that they could use in their papers. A fifth and final benefit is the identifying and overcoming of objecting viewpoints, of opposing viewpoints. So one more time, I'll show you an example in a new thread. In the Facebook and school thread, Champion writes that Facebook should not be allowed in school, and one of her main reasons is that if students aren't allowed by their parents to have a Facebook or don't want to have a Facebook, they wouldn't be able to participate. So if you jump down in this thread, there's a couple comments. Chino PR writes back, if your point of view students without a Facebook will not be able to complete assignments, then the solution to your problem is just to have the students create an account for the school Facebook. And then Champion comes back and attempts to refute that. So this opposition was something Champion was able to tie into her essay and refute that. So a fifth and final benefit of this activity was students being able to identify and overcome their opposing viewpoints. So 5 good benefits to using threaded discussion for